To make this video now to speak something about about a very important issue, right? About Andrew Tate and how he's not in any way, shape, or form associated with the men's rights movement. He has nothing to do with the men's rights movement. Okay, I say this because feminists use Andrew Tate just like they use the incel slur, like that, as a sledgehammer against men's rights, against the men's rights movement, and against any advocacy for the well-being of men and boys. This is what feminists do. They use certain social phenomena and so certain people, and they use that as smear campaigns. And this is the case with Andrew Tate, right? Andrew Tate is clearly a tradcon. He is anti-male. He's a misandrist. That is very clear, and I will show you why this is from this article on Woke Father, which seems to be a men's rights website. But yeah, Andrew Tate is anti-male, right? And only like manoshere red pill lunatics, which has nothing to do with men's rights, hype him up as some kind of badass or whatever, right? He's a posturer. That's what he is. And yeah, and this, again, it needs to be said that Andrew Tate has no association with the men's rights movement, right? Just like the red pill and the black pill and what kind of else pill and the manosphere and MGTOW. These groups have shown to be anti-male. They promote anti-male right-wing gender roles and woman worship and misandrous things, right? Child support and sometimes even circumcision. So yeah, these right-wing lunatics are not part of men's rights whatsoever. So yeah, I will read some lines from this article, right? I think this is a decent article overall, and I agree with like 90% or 95% of it. But yeah, let's read it, right? It's called "No, Andrew Tate is not some kind of martyr for men's rights." I've never seen Andrew Tate speak out about circumcision, the boy crisis, or conscription, yet feminists tirelessly try to associate him with men's rights in a rather transparent attempt to discredit the entire movement. Exactly. Andrew Tate doesn't give a shit about all these issues. Circumcision, the boy crisis, right? The boys being discriminated against in the education system, right? Conscription, and probably other issues, right? Male homelessness, male suicide rates, etc. Those are the things tradcons, right-wingers, manosphere type people, and Andrew Tate doesn't give a shit about. So he has nothing to do with men's rights. And feminists are trying to smear men's rights with Andrew Tate, right? Just like they did try to do that with Elliot Rodger, for example, right? I remember back in the day, it was around the time, or exactly right after Elliot Rodger committed this massacre, right, in 2014, I believe. Right after this incident, immediately after this incident, feminists in the media were asserting and were lying that Elliot Rodger had something to do with the men's rights movement, supposedly. And they based it off his YouTube videos that he was, or YouTube channels that he was subscribed to, but he was only subscribed to pickup artist type shit. And the pickup artists are pickup artists community has nothing to do with men's rights. Actually, it's the very opposite of that, because pickup artists scam lonely men and depressed and men without relationships and frustrated men. They scam these men. This is what pickup artists do, which is the exact opposite of men's rights. So feminists who associate men's rights with pickup artists, they are full of shit and lying, right? And they tried to do that with Elliot Rodger. And I read Elliot Rodger's manifesto. I studied his case because I wanted to understand why he did that horrible thing. And he mentioned nowhere in that manifesto that he was interested in men's rights, or that he was connected in with men's rights groups. So feminists were lying about that, and they're again lying about this supposed connection that Andrew Tate supposedly has with men's rights. He has no association with men's rights whatsoever. But yeah, let's carry on. However, if you are someone who speaks about men's rights and you simultaneously hold Tate up as a martyr for your cause, you are giving them ammunition. Exactly. But yeah, people who hold up Andrew Tate are not real MRAs. They are just tradcons who disguise themselves as MRAs, and they actually just want to worship women and maid guard and want to get a relationship. And once they get that, they are out of the men's rights movement, and they delete their men's rights accounts, and they don't give a shit about this movement anymore. So yeah, there are a lot of fakers in the mainstream part of the men's rights movement, unfortunately. It has been hijacked by right-wingers, unfortunately. That is the case. And you can see here, right, Andrew Tate is a misandrist himself. He tweeted here, "If you are over 15 and like cartoons, you are a loser. Anime, Dragon Ball Z, etc. No excuse. Plus, any woman loses respect for you. Grow up." So he wants to demonize male hobbies, right? Like watching anime. And he calls these men losers. And he's also overly concerned about women having respect or no respect for men, right? Or liking men. So he's a woman worshipper, and he's anti-male. It is very clear from this tweet. Very clear. Yet all we hear about is, in the feminist media, is Andrew Tate is a misogynist, but we never hear Andrew Tate is a misandrist. We never hear that. And there are multiple examples, like not just like this tweet, right? He also made some homophobic comments, right? Like this one here. Says Drake's shit, whines all time, and looks like he has Down syndrome. He makes homophobic comments like that, and this is homophobia is very high associated with misandry, right? The people among the LGBT community that gets the most hate, that is mostly victimized by hate crimes, are gay men. So when he's hearing homophobe that or writes homophobic things, that is sign of anti-maleness. That is sign of misandry. It's very clear. Andrew Tate exploits men. Tate has several sources of revenue over the years. Most notably, he started Hustler University. The front of this enterprise is teaching men how to improve themselves, although only in the context of impressing women. Yeah, like I said, he's a woman worshipper. It is very clear, like all tradcons are. And thus, he has nothing to do with men's rights. It is that clear. It is that simple. However, in reality, Hustler University is a pyramid scheme. Members are encouraged to recruit new members, for which they receive a commission. Hustlers University isn't Tate's only scam. In fact, he even admitted that a camgirl website he operated was such. He had the camgirls provide targeted men with sob stories about their lives to trick those men into giving them large sums of money, most of which went to Tate. So, according to this article, he scammed lonely men out of their money. That is the exact opposite of men's rights, right? And the article says here it doesn't sound like Tate is a champion for men and boys. It sounds more like he plays on their insecurities and their desire for love and companionship. Tate should be fighting the social structure that causes men to feel so lonely and alienated, but apparently instead he would rather exploit men for his own personal gain. Exactly. And yeah, you can see feminist tweets, right? Say band together, kill all men, and such hate speech is not prosecuted at all, and receives even likes, right? But they want to talk about Andrew Tate and incels, but we hear no strong media coverage and no societal outcry when it comes to misandry. Before you jump on my case, I do understand part of the outrage over the mass banning of Andrew Tate. It's frustrating to see him get banned for misogyny when far worse, misandry, is given a blanket pass on Twitter and other social media sites. Just the other day I came across a post on Instagram generalizing about what Western men want, as essentially the reverse of Tate's rhetoric. And let's not forget that radical feminists tweet #KillAllMen daily with impunity. The reverse against women would result in an instant ban for promoting violence against the group. Yeah, and it would probably also result in legal charges, and probably the police would kick down your door if you would tweet such a thing, to be honest. If you want to criticize the bans on these grounds or other arguments regarding free speech, I can support that. However, that doesn't change the above facts. Tate is no martyr for men's rights. In fact, he's a misandrist who exploited men throughout his career. Anyone promoting men's rights online should not associate him with the movement. Exactly. So all these manosphere type people, these MGTOW type people, and these red pill type people, and also black pill type people, they are anti-male. It is that simple. They are not pro men's rights, and they're just looking to get the girl and to oppress women. It is that simple. And their rhetoric is oftentimes just coping and strongman posturing, right? It's that simple, and they're giving feminists ammunition with that. And the victims of all of this are men. The victims of all of this are men and boys who get attacked from all sides. They get attacked by right-wingers, they get attacked by feminists, they get attacked by the left, they get attacked by all these groups. And the men's rights movement, the pro-male movement, the pro-male collective is the only answer. And we want nothing to do with people like Andrew Tate, and we have nothing to do with people like Andrew Tate. It is that simple.